the Sports Renegades podcast on SportstownChicago.com.
Hey, hey, holy mackerel, no doubt about it, the Cubs are on their way. The Cubs are gonna hit today, they're gonna pitch today, they're gonna field today. Come what may, the Cubs are gonna win today. Hey, hey, holy mackerel, no doubt about it, the Cubs are on their way. They got the hustle, they got the muscle, the Chicago Cubs are on their way.
1 ball, 2 strikes, the pitch. Big Cubs win the division! Cubs win the division! Cubs win the division! Fitzgerald is out on strike. Look at that scene on the field. And underneath all that humanity is Mitch Williams.
2 outs, 9th inning. And the 1-1. Sammy drives one. Get out the tape measure. Long gone. I don't believe it. Sammy Sosa ties the game 8-8. Well, Pat, we talked about the fact that Sosa hit the ball right on the screws last time up. This time, a no-doubter against Urbina, who, for whatever reason, after throwing a bullet of a fastball by him, he threw him a slider, and Sammy hit it out of sight. What a game tonight. Sosa hit one to Waveland Avenue.
First time in a century, back-to-back postseasons for the
All right, welcome back to the Sports Renegades here on SportstownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I'm Ryan Risky, and the Cubs just lost to the Angels.
Was the score 10-9?
10-9.
Did they lose like in walk-off fashion? Because I know the Angels were home, but I'm not sure if they scored in the bottom of the 8th or bottom of the 9th, as far as the Angels are concerned. Not that it really matters.
It's only spring training.
Yeah, but I mean
no.
Okay.
No, the Angels scored their 10th run in the 8th inning.
All right, so they took the lead in the bottom of the 8th then. Well, that's okay.
And the MLB.com box score that actually shows players' stats, for whatever reason, is only in the 4th inning.
Oh, well, there you
so
go.
I don't know who blew the game.
Well, we're assuming it was Brian Schlitter, just because he's had an awful spring so far.
Yeah, and he absolutely does not deserve to make the team. I mean, every game, like Lester throws 3 shutout innings. If they're up 3-0, he comes in and gives up 3 runs. I mean, looking at his name in the box score and seeing all those runs reminds me of when I would check the White Sox box scores last year and see when Belisario pitched.
That's a good point. Yeah, he obviously is gone from the White Sox, which is good. And I don't know. I'm assuming he didn't get picked up by any team.
Oh yeah, Tampa Bay. Or he originally was signing with Toronto to a minor league deal. That fell through. Signed with Tampa Bay, and then he fractured a bone in his shoulder getting out of a swimming pool.
Oh, one of those freak injuries like Carlos Boozer or Chris Sale. So yeah,
Sale's going to miss opening day. The target date for his return is April 12th, so he's going to miss at least the first week.
Yeah, so Samardzija will be pitching opening day.
Yeah, and that's assuming that he has no setbacks with his arm.
Now, who are they going to call up? Are they just going to go with a 4-man rotation for the first week?
I read that the way their schedule is, they don't need a 5th starter until like the week, like a couple days after April 12th. So if they want to, they can. I mean, if they do go with a 4-man rotation, the top half is good with Samardzija and Quintana, and then you got John Danks and Hector Noesi, and that just doesn't make you feel good.
Yeah, that kills your staff for the first week. But I mean, once Sale's back, I mean, he'll go back to being MVP caliber anyway, and then you have Samardzija there, who's been solid ever since 2012, 2013, and Yeah, it's going to be exciting for both teams. The Sox lost today 7-3, as I read in the update, but I think they're 3-4 in spring training now.
I have read that Carlos Rodon has looked really good in his in the spring training so far, so maybe he could make the opening day roster.
Yeah, and if not that, he definitely he could. Well, a lot of people think he's going to start off like Sale did anyway, where he'll start off in the bullpen for long relief and eventually make his way to the rotation, which would be really exciting, especially for them for the end of the season, because you could boot kick Noesi out of there.
Right, or maybe he could start in the rotation, and when Sale comes back, they could move him if they feel that it'll be better off in the long term if he starts out in the bullpen.
Right. And the only guy for the Cubs that has pitched well for spring training is Lester, I guess. He's had 2 outings now, and he's thrown, I think, overall it's 4
I don't think he's allowed to
innings,
run.
But, yeah, I don't think he's allowed to run. I think he's pitched like 4 or 5 scoreless innings in those 2 starts combined. So he's definitely doing well. He's striking people out, and it's a good sign to see from John Lester.
Right, yeah, I know. I don't think I know Arrieta's given up 1 run, except I know he's been walking a few guys. I know that's the thing that's kind of been plaguing their starters so far is the walks.
Right.
Because I think Arrieta gave up only 1 or 2 hits, except he walked 3.
Yeah, and I know Travis Wood did not do good.
No, not yesterday. He was pretty bad.
Yeah, and so
although he didn't get the loss because Brian Schlutter pitched in that game.
Yeah, I mean it's never really a big deal. It was really cool to see yesterday. It was yesterday, right, where they went back to back to back.
2 days ago.
2 days ago they went. So on Tuesday they went back to back to back, and that was really exciting to see the highlights of with Soler, Baez, and Bryant.
Yep. And Brian Schlutter gave up 5 runs that game.
Yeah, but for spring training, it's all about seeing the positives, and the offense certainly has been a positive, at least of late.
It has, yeah.
I know Anthony
out games has been the issue. It's late in the games that they're giving up all these runs.
Right, so we'll have to see what happens. I mean, I'm not too concerned because the Cubs had a really good of bullpen last year, and hopefully they can continue to have a good bullpen. But I mean, when Brian Schlitter keeps ruining things, maybe you want to not use him as much in the regular season,
or send him to AAA.
Yeah, you could always send him to AAA. Call somebody up who's been playing well, in his place. So yeah, I mean the Cubs have that new ballpark in Arizona, which is really nice. I saw it on TV, and
they keep setting the record for the highest spring training attendance.
Right. I think Lester's first start was the spring training record attendance,
which broke last year when every single game they were getting more and more people.
Right. It's because the times are changing for them, and people are feeling more optimistic, and a lot of people go to Arizona. I was there once. I only saw a couple games.
Yeah, I was there. I saw 5 games when I went. It was in 2009.
I went in, when was that? It's 2011, and I saw Tyler Colvin hit a grand slam in one of the games I went to. I think I went to 2 Cubs games and 1 Sox game.
Yeah, I went to 5 Cubs games and 1 Sox game. Well, technically 2 Sox because one of them was a Cubs-Sox game.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Except that was at the Cubs Stadium, which was Hohokam.
Yeah, I went to Hohokam too, but I think the year I went to the Sox game was the first year Camelback Ranch was open. So that
was the year I was there. Camelback Ranch was in its first year.
Okay,
2009.
All right, yeah. So I was there. It was a couple years old. That was by far
a really nice stadium.
Yeah, that was by far the nicest. I mean, compared to Hohokam, it was really nice because Hohokam was really crappy, but now Sloan Park is
it was
really
an
nice.
old one. Yeah, and actually the funny thing is that when we went, the cheapest tickets that we went were front row behind the Cubs dugout against Kansas City in the stadium that Kansas City and Texas share.
Okay.
So those were the cheapest tickets, and the most expensive ones we paid for were probably the worst seats, which were well, not like worse as in they were the farthest from home plate or whatever.
Yeah,
they were still really good. Was at Hohokam Stadium because the Cubs have a ton of season ticket holders.
Right. The good thing about spring training, it doesn't really matter where you're sitting. It's usually
all good seats.
A pretty good view because it's obviously a smaller ballpark. So spring training. are we in week 2 of spring training right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, we'll have 2 more weeks. Hopefully the Cubs and Sox can start to improve a little bit. The Sox offense has been really good for the past few games. I know, if they're losing games, they're usually scoring 3 or more runs. So they're doing a pretty nice job offensively, but they sort of have the same issue as the Cubs do right now, where the bullpen's not really
actually, with the Cubs,
doing as well.
It's mostly guys that aren't making the team, like Neil Ramirez and Pedro Strop. Those guys have been great.
Right, and obviously we want them to continue to be good.
Mm-hmm.
And Cubs opening day or opening night is Sunday, April 5th on Easter.
Easter, yep.
It's going to be interesting.
Ooh, Hamill didn't pitch very well today. He pitched 3 innings and gave up 3 runs.
So hopefully it wasn't all in one inning, but it could have been.
It was 1 in the first and 2 in the second.
Okay, well, what you look for is that they improve each time out. So hopefully,
he did walk. He gave up 5 hits and walked 2. So by the time the season starts, I'm sure Bosnia will have him figured out.
Yeah, because I did add Hamill on my fantasy team. I dropped Irvin Santana and added Jason Hamill. Just
I
because.
had to drop Marcus Stroman.
I saw that. I feel bad.
His ACL.
Yeah, he tore his ACL, and a lot of injuries in spring training.
Darvish will likely be having Tommy John surgery.
And my friend Lucas drafted him, and he really likes Darvish, and now.
Is he mad?
Oh yeah, he's pissed. He's so he's out for the year likely. Cliff Lee, I don't know if anybody drafted Cliff Lee, but
I'm sure he did. He was ranked pretty high.
Yeah, but Cliff Lee is going to be out for the season. It looks like too, possibly. So there's a lot of bad things. I just hope the injury plague doesn't hit the Sox more than it has with Chris Sale, and then
at least
hopefully it doesn't touch the Cubs either.
Yeah, the only thing that positive to look at with Sale is it was a lower body injury, not an arm injury.
Right? Yeah,
you'll take the lower body injuries any day of the week if they had to choose an injury for a pitcher. They'll choose the broken foot out for 3 weeks, then Tommy John surgery and out for the entire season, and then it'll take him another season to get back into the swing of things.
Right. Now, what happened with Sale officially? It was he was unloading a truck, and then something fell on his foot. And I don't know if it was his big toe or his foot or whatever, but like you said, at least it wasn't an arm, because that would have obviously delayed things a lot, and that would have brought down the Sox hype that's been happening this year too, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can really look at it as just like it's only a foot injury. He also has a sprained ankle, except they said that's not going to delay his start to the season.
Right. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to talk a lot about the Bears and the NFL, all the moves that have been made. We're going to reiterate some stuff, too, and just talk about the Bears and the NFL, because it was crazy. But for now, let's turn our attention to the Hawks as they play tonight. They were off for a couple days, but they played tonight. They're looking for 40 wins, which I'm sure they've had 40-win seasons ever since 08-09 at least. I would say.
Since the Stanley Cup year, the year before, they've been having 40-win seasons. Crawford usually wins 30 games for them,
right.
At least 30.
Yeah, and they're going to be in Arizona tonight, so hopefully it'll be an easy win for the Hawks.
Right, yeah, just to get back on track, because they've been struggling a little bit as of late.
Yes.
Obviously, the injury to Patrick Kane has kind of hindered them.
Yeah, it definitely has, and he's supposed to be back maybe second round of the playoffs is what they originally said.
Now, I've got an interesting question for you. I've been asking a lot of people this just to see what they say. Of the 5 major sports teams in Chicago, like the Cubs, or 6 major ones, Cubs, Sox, Bears, Blackhawks, Bulls, and the Fire.
Okay.
Who was the last Chicago athlete to win an MVP award?
That's a good question. Was it Derrick Rose?
That's what everyone tells me.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought, Derrick Rose.
No, it's not. The Chicago Fire forward and Chicago native Mike McGee won the MVP award.
I figured after I said that it would be a Fire player, because I don't know soccer.
No one knows this. They actually had traded for him mid-season 2 years ago. And then he just went on a tear and led the league in goals and points. and almost single-handedly led them to the playoffs, because when they traded for him, they had lost so many games that they had to win out the rest of the season just to have a chance to